Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakaha Kudash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Amos chapter 8, verses 11 to 13. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, the famine of the word, where the men of the Lord are no longer going to be on the highways and byways preaching this word, and video epistles like this are no longer going to be on the internet. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. 2/3 of the nation of Israel, or you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who spent this time of liberty when the words of Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi were freely available, scoffing at the word and throwing it behind your back. In that day, when all hell's breaking loose around you during Jacob's trouble, you're going to be looking for answers and won't be able to find it, and you're going to have to take whatever judgment comes your way during Jacob's trouble. And this famine of the word is quickly coming upon us, Akim. You can clearly see it if you've got that spiritual eye salve. Many brothers' pages on YouTube are getting striked and taken down, as well as their videos. And it's only a matter of time before that mass ban across multiple social media platforms happens, and the men of the Lord are no longer on the highways and byways. And in this video, I'll be profiling a video just to show that with each passing day, we're getting closer and closer to this famine of the word. This is an article from shtfplan.com titled, Ruling Class Admits to Violations of Free Speech by Flagging Facebook Posts as Misinformation, and it was published on July 16th. So like we always tell you sincere Akim out there, you should be diligently drinking from these rivers of living waters while you still can, because the famine of the word will hit sooner than later, and that spigot's going to get turned off. And the only thing you're going to have to guide you through Jacob's trouble is all that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you got before the famine of the word hit. The rulers have admitted to helping social media giant Facebook squash free speech. The White House has been flagging Facebook posts as so-called misinformation if the message goes against their official narrative of comply slaves. And though this article is mainly dealing with Facebook, best believe they want to take so-called misinformation, really the truth, off of multiple platforms. And they've said as much. This is an article from yahoonews.com titled, White House says social media bans for misinformation should extend to all platforms, all social media platforms, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and mainly YouTube, because that's mainly where the ministry is at. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said people who are removed from one social media platform for speaking misinformation should face the same consequences across the board. You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there, she said during a White House press briefing on Friday. Psaki also said social media companies such as Facebook should publicly share information about the impact of misinformation. And we already saw an example of somebody getting banned on multiple platforms through Donald Trump. And if they could do it to Donald Trump, the former president of the United States of America, think about how much more easy it would be to do it to a bunch of lowly so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans posting videos on YouTube. And also, there was a certain YouTuber from Boston, because I don't even know if you can say his name anymore without the videos getting flagged, but I'll just say his initials, RFB, who when he would post videos to his YouTube channel before it was taken down, he would go to BitChute, because he also had a channel there and would post videos, but he would see that as the videos were uploading to YouTube, they were also uploading to his account on BitChute, showing that all these different social media platforms are already connected. So So they're just waiting for the time to get the go-ahead to pull that switch and bring about that famine of the word. The Constitution is irrelevant at this point. We all know that. No one in power has any desire to protect any human rights, of which free speech is a basic human right. But whether the Constitution really be one thing or another, this much is certain, that it has either authorized such a government as we have had or has been powerless to prevent it. In either case, it is unfit to exist. Lysander Spooner from a book titled No Treason, The Constitution of No Authority. In fact, free speech that goes against the official narrative is now a threat, according to the Biden administration. The rulers have called medical misinformation a public health threat, and the White House said it was working with social media to flag problematic posts. Critics called it an in-run around the First Amendment, according to a report by RT. And the free speech that has caused the most damage to the so-called official narrative out here is this truth, if you can receive it. Beginning with our apostle elders going on to YouTube back in 2007, what have you seen all the way up until this present day? This Hebrew Israelite thing of ours exploding to the four winds of the earth, mainly due to that unicorn or the internet. You've seen brothers and sisters wake up everywhere. You've got brothers in all different countries, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, going out onto the highways and byways preaching this word. That vibration of you so-called white people or the biblical Edomites being sent out there, as well as you being the wicked of the Bible. We've seen these prophecies that we've been preaching begin to come to pass. Chariot sightings are becoming so prevalent out there that these heathen governments have had to admit to their existence. The list goes on. And these elites can see this, and these elites understand the scriptures and know that when the true men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, again, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone right now, are going out onto the highways and byways preaching this word, whatever kingdom that's ruling at the time is going to come to an end. And they also know that when Israel begins to call back onto their power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, that further brings about the end of whatever heathen nation is ruling at the time. And they also understand that they're the biblical Edomites and what the fate of the Edomites are after they're taken out of power. 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before they are permanently culled from this planet with fire. So these elites are about to pull out all the stops to keep this word from going out and to try to keep prophecy from coming to its fulfillment. As it says in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, and this devil is about to come down in great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So like I've been saying to you sincere Akim out there, you better be drinking from these rivers of living waters while you still can, because with each passing day, we're getting closer and closer to the fame of the word, where the men of the Lord are no longer going to be on the highways and byways, and this word is going to no longer be on the internet. So whatever knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you got before the fame of the word hit is what's going to guide you through Jacob's trouble. It's not an end run around the First Amendment. It's the death of it, and we've seen it coming for a long time. From John Cooper's Twitter page, Jen Psaki says the Biden administration is actively flagging what they deem disinformation about the situation to Facebook for censoring. What could go wrong?
This is a big issue of misinformation, specifically on the pandemic. In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation. We're working with doctors and medical professionals to connected medical experts who are popular with their audiences with accurate information and boost trusted content. So we're helping get trusted content out there. This is a big issue of misinformation.
And remember what Jen Psaki said in that article from Yahoo News. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said people who are removed from one social media platform for spreading misinformation should face the same consequences across the board. You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there, she said during a White House press briefing on Friday. So it's not just Facebook they've got their crosshairs on. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters on Thursday. In addition to directing the company to censor people, the government is also working to get trusted content out there by putting medical professionals in touch with social media influencers. And what have we seen? That song that Juvenile and Manny Fresh came out with recently, and I'll just call it Bite That Thing Up, advocating for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to get the bite. Like we've been always telling you, they're going to use these so-called Israelite celebrities and other influencers to push their agenda on you Israelites. So not only are they censoring those who go against their propaganda campaign, they are ramping up their propaganda campaign. The only good news here is that we can tell they are in desperation mode. If their message was working, they wouldn't need to censor and use propaganda to manufacture compliance. That means people are waking up to the fact that government is slavery, and all slavery in all forms should be abolished. This move will only serve to awaken a few more to their invisible shackles. And hey, this author is right. The only good news here is that we can tell they are in desperation mode, but for another reason. Again, Matthew 24 verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. The truth is what's putting these elites into desperation mode, because they can see the prophecies begin to come to their fulfillment, Israel waking up, and they know their time's almost up. So again, as it says back in Revelation chapter 12 verse 12, that devil is about to come down in great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Psaki isn't the only member of the ruling class to admit to attempting to silence the slaves who dissent. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy issued an advisory declaring misinformation an imminent and insidious threat to our nation's health. From Jordan Shadle's Twitter page, when Surgeon General says misinformation, he means departure from the regime-approved narrative. Dissent mustn't be tolerated, and he wants big tech to crack down on what amounts to open inquiry and a free exchange of ideas. In other words, he's a tyrant. From Tom Elliott's Twitter page, Murphy, Surgeon General advisories are usually reserved for urgent public health threats, and while those threats have often been related to what we eat, drink, and smoke, today we live in a world where misinformation poses an imminent and insidious threat to our nation's health. Turn the volume up.
Today, I issued a Surgeon General's advisory on the dangers of health misinformation. Surgeon General advisories are reserved for urgent public health threats. And while those threats have often been related to what we eat, drink, and smoke, today we live in a world where misinformation poses an imminent and insidious threat to our nation's health. Health misinformation is false, inaccurate, or misleading information about health, according to the best evidence at the time. And while it often appears innocuous on social media apps, on retail sites, or search engines, the truth is that misinformation takes away our freedom to make informed decisions about our health and the health of our loved ones. During the COVID-19 pandemic, health misinformation has led people to resist wearing masks in high-risk settings. It's led them to turn down proven treatments and to choose not to get vaccinated. This has led to avoidable illnesses and death. Simply put,
you heard what he said. So-called medical misinformation has led some people to not wearing masks, as well as some people to avoid treatments to so-called make themselves better. And what I found interesting is that an article came out saying that there's a percentage of people out there that believe that the bite has an microchip in it so that the government can control people. And who's the main group of people out there that have talked about a RFID/NFC, MICROCHIPIMPLANT, the men of the Lord, chiefly GMS or Great Millstone. And also Apostle Tahar did a video a couple of months dealing with the RFID/NFC, MICROCHIPIMPLANT, and he got the video taken down. And the reason was that it was called so-called medical misinformation, going against the C number after 18 situation. And Apostle Tahar said that his video didn't mention anything about the situation. Hey, we're clearly in their crosshairs, Akim.
Health information has cost us lives. Now, health misinformation didn't start with COVID-19. What's different now, though, is the speed and scale at which health misinformation is spreading. Modern technology companies have enabled misinformation to poison our information environment with little accountability to their users. They've allowed people who intentionally spread misinformation, what we call disinformation, to have extraordinary reach. They've designed product features, such as like buttons, that reward us for sharing emotionally charged content, not accurate content. And their algorithms tend to give us more of what we click on, pulling us deeper and deeper into a well of misinformation. Now, we need an all-of-society approach to fight misinformation, and that's why this advisory that I issued today has recommendations for everyone.
An all-of-society approach to fight misinformation. Amos chapter 8, verses 11 to 13. Misinformation takes away our freedom to make informed decisions about our health and the health of our loved ones, Murthy said at the White House. During just the C number after 18 situation, it has led to Americans refusing to wear masks, turn down proven treatments, and choosing not to get bitten, which he said costs lives. Actually, the government takes away our freedom. No amount of information or misinformation has the power to do anything other than exist. The human must then use critical thinking to discern the information and whether they will accept or reject it. Murthy is a liar and a propagandist of the highest order, and his job is to keep the slaves in line. If they figure out they are slaves, the jig is up. The ruling class is demanding tech giants to violate basic human rights on their behalf. There's a term for that. It's called fascism. Although we crossed that line a long time ago, it's all out in the open now. From Glenn Greenwald's Twitter page, the Biden administration is telling Facebook, which posts its regards as problematic, so that Facebook can remove them. This is the union of corporate and state power, one of the classic hallmarks of fascism that the people who spent 5 years babbling about fascism support. From Steve Harmon, we are in regular touch with the social media platforms about C number after 18 related misinformation, says PressSec. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook. Glenn Greenwald, if you don't find it deeply disturbing that the White House is flagging internet content that they deem problematic to their Facebook allies for removal, then you are definitionally an authoritarian. No other information is needed about you to know that. This is Ministry of Truth malfeasance. They're literally admitting to colluding with the media to control the narrative. This is censorship, tweeted Congressman Thomas Macy of Kentucky, adding that such tactics befit dictatorships and that throttling speech with which the government disagrees crosses a line. From Stacy FEMA Camp Region 4's Twitter page, you know what will make people question your narrative more than anything else, PressSec? What you just did. If your ideas are the best, they can stand on their own. Censorship will make people question it more every single time. That's it. With this article, you get the point. But as you sincere Akim can clearly see, with each passing day, we're getting closer and closer to the famine of the word. So again, you should be drinking from these rivers of living waters while you still can, because once that spigot's turned off, that's it. And all the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you were able to get before the famine of the word hit is what's going to guide you during Jacob's trouble, but as for 2/3 of the nation of Israel, back in Amos 8, verses 13, those fair virgins and young men that are going to faint for the thirst of the words of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, you're going to have to get it how you live in that day, and the getting's not going to be good. But now I'm going to close it out in 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 5, verse 9. And salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, the fame of the word, where the words of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai are no longer going to be heard out on the highways and byways or on the internet, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found, the fair virgins and the young men fainting for thirst. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. One land also shall ask another and say, Is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, No. Point blank, period. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim are edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.